Before you face what Mark Twain called the new and awful dignity of getting older, what if you could arm yourself with the wit of the man who saw life as the ultimate comedy? What if you had a roadmap for navigating life's absurdities with a grin? Stick around, because we're unpacking the fierce, funny, and genuinely timeless advice Mark Twain left behind for living a life of substance, long before the wrinkles set in. Samuel Langhorne Clemens, the man we know as Mark Twain, wasn't just a writer. He was a force of nature. William Faulkner called him the father of American literature, a reputation forged by masterpieces like The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. But his genius couldn't be contained in novels. He was a rock star lecturer, a sharp-eyed travel writer, a fiery social critic, and maybe the greatest humorist America has ever produced. But don't mistake the humor for a lack of depth. Beneath the wit was a man who deeply understood the human condition, often through tragedy. Twain outlived his beloved wife, Olivia, and 3 of his 4 children. He rocketed to the heights of fame and fortune, only to be financially ruined by disastrous investments. He saw immense personal sorrow and the endless foolishness of mankind, and through it all, he clung to one core belief, that humor was our greatest saving grace. He was especially sharp on the topic of aging, because he lived it. He reached his 70th birthday, an event he marked with a famous speech where he wryly described arriving at a new and awful dignity. Now, in the age of the internet, Twain's face is plastered on memes with quotes he never said. Witty one-liners about arguing with fools are often misattributed to him. This video is different. We've dug past the fakes to bring you the real wisdom of Mark Twain, quotes sourced from his books, letters, and speeches, along with a few so famous we have to talk about them. This is the advice you actually need before you get old, from the man himself. Quote number 1, on personal responsibility. Let's start with a quote that strips away all excuses and puts the weight of your life squarely on your own shoulders. While scholars debate its exact origin, this piece of wisdom is pure Twain in spirit. Don't go around saying the world owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. It was here first. In a culture that often talks about what we're owed, this statement cuts like a razor. It's a direct assault on the very idea of entitlement. Twain isn't being cruel here, he's being a realist. He's reminding us that the universe doesn't really care about our personal expectations. The world, with its mountains and oceans and billions of years of history, wasn't created just for us. Understanding this before you get old is like unlocking a superpower, self-reliance. It's knowing that your life, your success, and your happiness are your responsibility. Complaining that life isn't fair is, in Twain's view, a total waste of time. You might as well argue with the tide. Embracing this frees you from the bitterness of unmet expectations. Instead of waiting for the world to hand you something, you learn to build it, create it, and earn it yourself. It fosters a mindset of action over complaint. As you age, you'll meet plenty of people who feel cheated by life. By internalizing this wisdom, you can choose a different path, one of ownership, where you're the architect of your own life. Quote number 2, on integrity and simplicity. Next up, Twain gives us a piece of advice that's both a moral compass and a brilliantly practical life hack. From his notebook, he left us this gem. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. This is classic Twain. He takes a lofty concept like honesty and boils it down to its most practical, almost lazy, advantage. He's not just being moral, he's pointing out how inefficient it is to be a liar. Think about it. The mental energy it takes to maintain a lie is exhausting. You have to remember what you said, who you said it to, and which details you made up. It's a full-time job for your memory, a constant, low-level stress that complicates everything. A life built on lies is like a house of cards, and you're always terrified of a slight breeze. Truth, in Twain's world, is a labor-saving device. It's the ultimate hack for a clear mind. When you live truthfully, your story is always consistent. There's no web of deceit to get tangled in, no database of fabrications to manage in your head. You're free to just be yourself. As you get older, life gets complicated enough. The last thing you need is the self-imposed burden of managing a fake narrative. Adopting this principle doesn't just make you a better person, it simplifies your entire existence, freeing up brainpower for the actual challenges and joys of life. Quote number 3, on discretion and wisdom. Twain was a master observer of human foolishness, and he knew that sometimes the smartest thing you can do is just be quiet. This next one is one of his most famous lines. While it's not actually found in his books like Following the Equator as people often claim, it has become his signature piece of social strategy. It is better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you are a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. In an era that demands a hot take on everything, Twain champions the lost art of strategic silence. He knew that we often feel a desperate need to prove how smart we are, to chime in and show we belong in the conversation. That need, he warns, is a trap. The wisdom here is twofold. First, it's about intellectual humility. It's admitting you don't know everything. Rushing to speak on a topic you know nothing about is the fastest way to look ignorant. Silence isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. It shows you know the limits of your knowledge. Second, it's about choosing your battles. Not every argument needs you. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is just watch and listen. By keeping your mouth shut, you give yourself space to learn and assess. You save your energy for the moments that really matter. Learning to be comfortable with silence is a profound skill. It will save you from countless embarrassing moments and pointless arguments. It lets you move through the world with a quiet confidence, knowing your intelligence is measured by the quality of your words, not the quantity. Quote number 4, on work and play. What's the difference between work and play? In The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Twain offers a definition so simple and profound it can change how you see your entire life. He writes, "Work consists of whatever a body is obliged to do, and play consists of whatever a body is not obliged to do." This isn't just a clever line, it's a psychological framework. Notice the definition has nothing to do with the task itself. An activity can be work for one person and play for another. A professional chef who has to cook for a living is working. A home cook who chooses to spend Saturday making the same meal is playing. The only thing that changed was the obligation. Understanding this is key to finding joy and avoiding burnout. It teaches you that the secret to a happy life isn't avoiding hard things, but cultivating a sense of choice in what you do. It's about shifting your mindset from I have to I get to. This quote is a call to find the play in your work, to find a career that feels less like an obligation and more like a chosen path. It's also a powerful reminder to protect your play. The moment a hobby you love starts to feel like a chore, you know the obligation has crept in. Twain's wisdom urges us to guard those things we do just for the love of it. To reach old age with a life that has more play than work, by his definition, is the ultimate win. Quote number 5, on education versus schooling. Twain left formal schooling at age 12 and was always suspicious of institutions. He saw a huge difference between being schooled and being educated. While historians debate if he spoke these exact words, the sentiment is so perfectly Twain that it's become linked to his name forever. I have never let my schooling interfere with my education. Schooling is the rigid curriculum, the memorization, the rules. Education is messier. It's bigger. It's the learning that happens from experience, travel, failure, and questioning everything. This idea is more relevant today than ever. We're all encouraged to follow a set path, good grades, good college, good job. That's the path of schooling. Twain urges us not to let that path become a cage. He wants us to stay curious, to read books that aren't assigned, to learn from people in all walks of life. To grasp this before you get old is to give yourself permission to be a lifelong student of the world, not just a graduate of a school. It means your education didn't end with a diploma, it was just getting started. It also protects against arrogance. A degree doesn't automatically make you educated. True education is a continuous, humbling process. As Twain actually did right, education consists mainly of what we have unlearned. Quote number 6, on the nature of truth. Twain was fascinated by the line between reality and fiction. In his travel book Following the Equator, he made an observation so sharp it has become a timeless truth. Truth is stranger than fiction, but it is because fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities. Truth isn't. Think about that. A novelist has to make things believable. The plot needs to make sense. If a story has too many crazy coincidences, we call it unrealistic. Fiction is stuck with what's plausible. Real life has no such rulebook. It is filled with absurd coincidences, random tragedies, and events so bizarre that if you put them in a novel, nobody would believe you. The universe doesn't care about plot holes. It just is. Internalizing this is a survival tool. It teaches you to accept that some things happen for no reason at all. People who try to force every real-life event into a neat story, with heroes, villains, and a tidy moral, are constantly frustrated by the world. They're trying to make reality behave like fiction. When you understand that truth doesn't have to be believable, you can handle the chaos of life with more flexibility. When something utterly baffling happens, instead of asking why, you can just nod and remember Twain. It doesn't make life's weird turns less difficult, but it can make them less maddening. Quote number 7, on the journey of age. In 1905, a huge dinner was held at Delmonico's in New York for Mark Twain's 70th birthday. In his speech, he offered this profound maxim on the deeply personal journey of life. We can't reach old age by another man's road. In that speech, he joked about his own lifestyle, staying up late, never exercising, and smoking constantly, and admitted that the very habits that preserved him would probably kill another person. His point wasn't to recommend smoking cigars. His point is that there is no universal formula for a long life. We're constantly bombarded with 5 habits of successful people and 10 foods you must eat. Twain dismisses all of it with one elegant sentence. To get this before you get old is to free yourself from the tyranny of comparison. Your path is your own. Your genetics, your personality, your passions, it's a unique combination. Trying to live your life according to someone else's blueprint is a recipe for disaster. This quote is a powerful call for self-awareness. The journey to old age requires you to become an expert on one thing, yourself. You have to learn what nourishes your body, what excites your mind, and what feeds your soul. What works for an influencer or your neighbor is irrelevant. We can't reach old age by another man's road is a mantra of liberation. It's permission to build a life that is unapologetically yours. Quote number 8, on the physical marks of time. Of all the parts of aging, the physical changes can be the hardest to accept. Our society spends billions trying to hide wrinkles. In Following the Equator, Twain offers a radical and beautiful way to reframe them. Wrinkles should merely indicate where smiles have been. This is one of his most compassionate thoughts. He takes something we see as decay and turns it into a badge of honor. He asks us to look in the mirror and see not the loss of youth, but the evidence of laughter. The lines around our eyes aren't signs of deterioration, they are the physical map of our happiest moments. Embracing this perspective is a revolutionary act of self-love. It's a choice to value experience over appearance. Imagine a life lived so fully, so filled with joy, that it leaves its record on your face. That's the life Twain is celebrating. This quote is a powerful antidote to the anxiety of aging. It tells us to spend less time worrying about the lines on our skin and more time creating the smiles that cause them. As you get older, you have a choice. You can see each new wrinkle as a flaw, or you can see it as a trophy. Twain's wisdom invites you to choose the latter, and to earn every single line. The wisdom of Mark Twain isn't a gentle, soothing balm. It's a sharp, invigorating shot of whiskey. It's meant to wake you up, make you laugh, and force you to see the world without illusions. He teaches us that a life well lived is one of self-reliance and integrity. It's a life where we take responsibility, tell the truth, and stay curious. He reminds us that our education never ends, that truth will always be stranger than fiction, and that we each have to walk our own road to old age. And perhaps most beautifully, he reframes the marks of aging not as decay, but as monuments to our smiles. Ultimately, Twain's message is one of engaged, humorous, and courageous living. In the spirit of his 70th birthday speech, the goal is to keep living fully, so you can greet the end of your journey with a contented heart. By arming ourselves with his wit, maybe we can do just that. Mark Twain's work is a huge ocean of brilliance, and we only dipped a toe in today. What's your favorite genuine Mark Twain quote? Drop it in the comments below, especially if you know where it's from. Let's build a collection of his authentic genius together. And if you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest minds, please give this video a like and subscribe for more timeless wisdom. Thanks for watching.